Hi there, it's Erin, and I'm here to talk about my spiritual hangover from August and talk a little bit about what the beginning of September feels like to me energetically. We'll talk about Ascension symptoms and the energies that are here for September, the changes that are happening, the new timelines that are being created. And then I want to bring in a light language transmission to you from the collective guides, yours and mine, and our soul group in particular that are tuned in to these transmissions. So, just briefly, August shook me up and spit me out. And here I am. Now I'm 50. I turned 50 at the end of August, and it just feels like a new level of truth has emerged. Um, I would describe myself as a recovering people pleaser. I don't know if that resonates with anybody here, but when I turned 50, something interesting started to happen. And I think this is reflective of all of us in our end of August integrations. It may be moving into September, early September for a few of us. But what I'm being told here is that this is a new level of you that is demanding a new level of truth, of honoring yourself, your true spirit, what you really want. And for me, what I became aware of is that my mouth is writing a lot of checks that my spirit can't cash. In other words, I am reverting back to old patterns, or I was, where I would go into people pleaser mode. I would go into saying things that I thought other people wanted to hear, even committing to certain actions that actually don't resonate with me anymore. And as I'm saying them, as they're coming out of my mouth, there's this weird dissonance that comes in that I can actually feel now. I didn't used to be able to feel it. But as I'm making a decision, I'm being guided now to sort of step back from responding immediately and feeling into myself like, do I actually want to do that? Because what would happen in the past is I would say, yeah, I'm all for that. Then the time to pay the price would come in. It's time to do that now, this appointment or that meeting or, this activity. And I just didn't have any mojo for it. Like literally, the energy is just not there to perform this action or to do this. And I now have a level of discernment within myself to be able to just kind of go, I don't feel any energy going in that direction. That activity or that event or whatever it is, that's just not for me. And sort of I don't give a crap kind of feeling about what that's going to seem like to other people. And that's new for me. That is something that I've been working on in the dream world as well, which leads me into a different form of dream therapy that I'm experiencing in my dream world. So, before we get into that, I just want to tell you what August brought me for physical ascension symptoms. I got the wobbly fields, like feeling lightheaded, wobbly, even as I was walking sometimes. I would just hit a point where I was like, whoa, there's a wobble. And I would need to stop, take some deep breaths, ground somewhere if I could, just connect to nature. I've got a tree in my front yard that I can grab onto, who always helps me stabilize. The heart rattles, which sounds like some medieval, way of describing like a heart condition. But in these big light integrations, I would get this rattly feeling. And I know this feeling. I know that I don't need to go in and have another EKG like I did the first time it happened. It is a recalibration of the fields in your heart. Your heart is this physical, but also multidimensional part of your body. And when you're going through these big soul integrations and you're bringing in a lot of light, maybe a new aspect of your soul to fully embody with, you can feel your heart recalibrating that energy. and it can be very unsettling. I had a lot of that in August, and I had a big one actually yesterday, because yesterday was an enormous emotional purge for me. And August brought me through these waves of light and then dipping down into the dark shadows of myself, coming up for air. And I just felt like I got pummeled over and over and over again by these crashing waves. So I have a spiritual hangover from that, but I'm coming out of it. And what it feels like coming out of that is a new stability. To comfort myself through some of these really big emotional purges that I was having, I started watching Star Wars. And I've never been as into Star Wars as I am now. It's strange because I've always been more of a Star Trek fan and all forms of fantasy and science fiction, really. But Star Wars, and particularly the last movies that were just made recently, they have like some kind of a higher level of I would say disclosure or channeled energy contained within them. And when when Luke Skywalker was telling Rey how to connect with the Force, I literally had to stop the video. I got such a wave of emotion coming in, and I had never really thought about spirit as being the Force. But let me tell you, that concept of the Force resonates with me so fully now at this point in my development that I could almost stop calling it spirit and just calling it the Force if people wouldn't think that I'm just some kind of freak, that's just an out of control Star Wars fan. But the Force, being spirit, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, the way that he described to her to connect to it was reach out with your feelings. And I can hardly even say it now without getting emotional, because our feelings as human beings are really our guidance system. And when I would do that, so I actually stopped when he told her to do that in the movie. I stopped. I did it myself. And I thought, oh my goodness, maybe this is all I ever need in terms of immediate communication with my heart, my personal higher self, my universe, my guides. It's like everything was there all at once. And the strange thing is, you would think that reaching out would make you feel a little disconnected or out of body or whatever. What it ended up doing for me was guiding me right back to my heart. I could actually feel my heart pulsating. So, needless to say, I did a lot of work with that particular technique, and it's brought in a lot for me. Really has helped me with the recalibration in this new timeline that we are all in, of unity consciousness and connecting with the Christ consciousness. That's another thing that's coming in more strongly. The unity consciousness access, it's in September, I am feeling is so alive, so accessible for everyone. We have cleared through lifetimes of baggage in August. And if you had emotional roller coasters, if you have a spiritual hangover, let it ride out, because what's ahead from all of that work that you've been doing is a higher level of connectivity with the field of unity consciousness, your personal Christ consciousness coming in. And I'm not just, when I say Christ consciousness, not just talking about Jesus, I'm talking about your Christed higher self, that I am presence in you, that is totally connected to everything. It's what you come from. And our level of trust in that is also growing. It's not as we don't have as much interference with our mental realms after this whole purging that we did in August. It's like it's here, and I can really feel it. I feel more connected to it. And in this light language transmission, we're going to clear all of that mental stuff away and really connect into the heart and connect to it. So our Christ unity consciousness is expanding in such a way that our heart fields are connected to other humans that have their hearts on, and we'll be feeling it. There won't be any way that we can't feel it, because that is what we are evolving into. That's what the ascension process is, essentially. So we're coming into, in September, a lunar eclipse on the 17th, and then on the 22nd, an equinox. And those kind of being a little bit back to back, that's going to give us another opportunity to really anchor in new timelines for ourselves. What do I mean by timelines? I just basically mean the reality of you in a new vibration. And as we are linking timelines, like, I'm very aware that I have been linking timelines from ancient Egypt and Lemuria and Atlantis and Hyperborea and all of these different places where I've had incarnations quantumly to now, this timeline. My light language reflects it. My dialects in light language are changing. I had a big integration with Imhotep from Egypt. We've been opening these sort of crystalline vaults and codexes to allow that ancient knowledge to come in, to help it open our hearts, our fields, our channels, so that we can connect on higher frequencies. So letting go of outcomes as our fears are being dismantled. What August brought in for me also was an ocean of fears. Those crashing waves felt like fear attached to different aspects of myself that I was clearing. And what is coming in September is a divine feminine energy that carries with it a lot of patience, creativity, a sinking into your creator aspect. And I want to talk about spider energy with that, because I had a lot of encounters with very unique, strange looking spiders in the last week. And then I used these galactic code cards. They're actually crop circles. So this actually looks like a spider web. And it activated the heck out of me when I saw this. I just kind of felt myself almost going into a trance. I've been using galactic light codes and trying to kind of bring a little bit of that now to my YouTube channel with light language and these light codes, but specifically this spider energy, which you think about spiders and you think, oh, creepy, or at least I do. But I had this giant wolf spider in my garage, and my first instinct was not get it out, kill it. It was like curiosity. It was like awe. It was like, wow. It was impressive. I instantly knew that it was a female one. And I've had other little jumping spiders that are so cute and interesting. In like around me in my garden, one jumped on my foot one day, and so much so that I kind of had to go, whoa, what's going on with spiders? So I looked it up, and spiders are carriers of divine feminine creator energy. And if you think about the webs that they create, they're using creativity. Spiders create different kinds of webs. They are patient. They wait for their food to come to them. And there is something about the weaving of realities that spiders also carry, that we're really moving past the fear of spiders in general, I think, as a collective, and allowing that energy to come in and actually speak to us. So instead of Hulk smash, oh no, there's a spider, for me at least, it's a softening and an opening into the spiritual wisdom of the spider energy. More of a shamanic take on what that's bringing, and really paying attention to the signs. And you can pay attention to the animals that come into your realm of awareness and perception from day to day. they're speaking to us. This is the universe speaking to us through the creatures of the world. And if we pay attention, we'll know what we're bringing in. And these are new shamanic aspects of ourselves opening up that are speaking to us now. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about dream therapy, and then I will go into the divine feminine integration and bring in those light codes that are waiting to come in. I feel like guides gathering sort of on the left and the right side of me, but there's a lot on the left on the divine feminine. So quickly about dream therapy. If you are having bad dreams, nightmares, very uncomfortable energies coming through your dreams, yes, I'm going to be the first to just totally admit that, especially after these big integrations that I've had. What's happening here is we have an opportunity. The opportunity is to go back into what we can remember of that dream, even if it's just a tiny little snippet, and extract the emotional counterpart of ourself that exists in the unconscious. This is a hidden aspect of self that's coming forward for healing, for acknowledgement, to know that this part of yourself is hiding somewhere in your soul matrix, waiting for you to acknowledge, to accept, to bring in and process those emotions. I've been doing this when these really uncomfortable dreams come up, trying not to move too much, from the position that I'm laying in, trying to allow my mind to go back into it, even if it was uncomfortable and I really didn't like that, to not take the dream literally, but to look into the symbolism and the feelings that were involved and create a dream portal out of that, to meditate, call my guides in, bring that aspect of self to me. My people pleaser aspect was being worked with the other night. And in the dream, I was stuck in a really uncomfortable position of my body with my arm like wrenched behind me, while a person that I thought was an authority figure, I wanted to impress them, I wanted to please them, I just thought they were the coolest person on earth. They were literally sitting on this part of my arm, like this close to me, and I was stuck there because I wouldn't tell them that my arm was uncomfortable. And I was stuck in that position. I was miserable. And I woke up feeling like that. And I worked with that part of myself. And so much came through. I got such a healing. It was like an extended healing in my waking life about that energy. And when I say a recovering people pleaser, I mean that is what I am. We work on this stuff in levels, because who I am in my deep self, in my higher self, is not a people pleaser. And that aspect of me, that greater aspect of me, is bringing this to me to be healed. This is a conditioning that I went through when I was young, to only feel safe if I'm pleasing others, or to only feel like I could belong if I could be of service, or if I could bend and break myself in order to fit what made them comfortable. And all of that is starting to go away. But we do this in layers. So that healing is coming in for all of us. And if you can start to work your dreams and allow these dream portals to come in, you will be given things to work on. I'm not going to say you're going to remember every dream all the time, because I certainly don't. But the times that I do, instead of going, ugh, that was a terrible dream, I just want to, get rid of it, I'm now starting to see it as a healing opportunity. Okay, so we're going to move into acknowledging that this is a divine feminine integration. Right now, all through September, I had my feminine, very angelic feeling aspect just totally come in and just grab hold of me. My head even felt like it was cocked to the left, and it was a very rainbowy, light kind of feminine, motherly presence that grabbed onto me and just started this sob fest. I released so much pain and anxiety that I had been holding on to for days through her, and now she's more integrated into me, into my body, my human avatar self, Erin. And I know that that's going to keep going. I have been seeing the Kundalini snake, the Kundalini serpent in visions. We are getting a big divine feminine Kundalini awakening as a collective, and we need to lean into that. We will be doing a lot of work with our lower chakras, our sacral chakra, to bring in a re-enlivening of our sexual energy, which is our spiritual energy. Many of us are holding shame about this, and that phase for the collective is ending. You see it everywhere. There are signs and symptoms of it everywhere. If you are getting a big sacral chakra awakening right now with sensation, excuse me, and feelings there, could be pain in the lower back and the hips and the pelvis, that is normal. And that is letting you know that this area of the body is clearing itself out as it's awakening. And as much as that could be painful, it is also something to be celebrated. Okay. Well, this is a long video, but I do have some light language for you now. I'm going to ground myself and let's clear our fields with a big breath, focusing on the heart. And bring in our guides, angels, cosmic and soul family. Thank you. Okay, I feel Yeshua here. Jesus, Yeshua, Sananda, all these names. And he's really present right now to open our heart fields, that level of self-compassion. And let's bring this in. Maradiandiro kuriata o bkhego yimoto radio dengini o habaratiata yukis kata de dioro yontian dererario baha. Sekatai konene rico tata ikabaki katikaro bakata takario nanimo kayo kasha kasarat ekim bakatat eko giabataria kaka. Sondo nyere tungiam kartu de ihaga u bahartuni behertia de iryomoka u wesatiam bakukurtia tata. Sandat gurianani mohurit yebehebehege bahagu u uretere yarrianani no mamashugo zuret ebiaga. Beriantan tiumoko borhiahaku ebehesade dariatate tiamaka. Sorotota tiarto te kema karatiata te soka hebake baharitio nimakaratiata to geba karatiata de jugo zartingiamaka. Saratunyana emu yahiko bahartie koeja sorotungo ni artiata te. Shakatutarko tia bahaka royaratian tiamaka uyabaka esha sadu yakom beratiarto tiamaka de editia. Sakatata uriata takate baha bekaya koyang kingyan nine noriata ta ikashaka sorototo ya baha kingyan nine eretiata sorotunyan ni merota ta ibahagu bahaga ikeratan tianonania yago ba shambat kuriatati mandat kuriatate ugujeti zadingyan nine ni momoyo ko inget ninkataria katata. Okay, I feel Isis coming in. Uhrutyatai kikiapakatati kiamba kwanyin. Shakatoteriakatati wakiabaha yujamoko erberi hage you ho or yokuya yung yangai. Nandio dariotata yoko riotata yuko shakasaratu yamaka kuya. Sira tata yo daria katata yo kiamakatia tati ungo heshasa siata yukertingia. Abato duriote te bakaduria tatekendane o habahari ugugu yo baharia riatata yo kuriatata. Nendian de go obakako epakashkasato takta ikokia bakaterikatata. Koriatata nyo mbeguya goingenguyengaironian ye makario ya. E o awaka ya manga yungianai. Nario ya me yungwe mahe o yungwe mahe ya nye e ongwa. Meradiardia rososia patotia nertiotia pacortian dudusosisia. Ne oya oi kia kaya tindandiana. Narota tutia baba hokoya patai igoderia tate heshakasara tungiana nienda. Shirote ngoy mahango ngoya nina ngoya baha ngoya Aratiana riata sukotaya babaki uatandi riata tabo ukoyati. Sipato te corriato te cabakia con diareto to candirio to te a corriundere to te angoi baha. Nero dia duisa katai shoko sora tingianai. Mohoko behege oya habaka u kuitata ikikiamba. Shurko te riko te ego. Sikuta harikata. Ni harit uko porjata te uko. Oi di diara to dingini mana. Harjata te jonka se tietai kuguriko te rikata kato kingianai. Heart opening. Karjata te dirjo to kingianai inde ungo imoko imgoyani. Nariata te riata. So tanya makai ortia yoko bahage we apatota yukondiana. Nanto takatayu yoriota tayu barriota take sugar sa giedo hiana nimaha. Diga ruta te you barriota indiana nerio waheria gea. Moyani. Moyani nertan tikotakatkashkas apot erkata bahagi yoko. Handat erotongwa. Tuttat epapatatingiana no ha. Shigata rieta, yuko bahuriondiane. All right. Thank you for joining me today. All right. So I received a little bit of a download there about some gentle shadow work tapping, a video that I will probably do next, as I think a lot of us are in the midst of some soul integrations where we could really use some help with that gentle shadow work of helping to release the pieces and parts of ourselves that are coming up for healing, coming up for integration, and I feel like that's being called for. Please let me know in the comments what you've been experiencing lately. August was intense. September is helping us to stabilize and anchor in these new timelines. And I'm interested to hear what's going on with you, my spiritual family. And I just want to say I love you and just keep being more and more of your true self. And we'll meet again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.